Proportional Response, Book 1, Chapter 19, Part 9, Calling the Votes. Laszlo kept a smile on his face as he stood after Gerfnen ended his speech and gestured theatrically for the vote. The Duke considered saying something, but decided against it. Wouldn't do to have anyone claim he'd taken an unfair opportunity to speak. So he hit the buttons to call the vote without preamble. Part of him tried to lean forward in anticipation as the votes were tallied on his screen, but at least the voting didn't take long. He found himself with 40% of the vote, Kiklin, the Bither, with 30%, and Balud, the Arabso, only beating Gerfnen by 1%. Only Henry had abstained. Well, a vote where almost no one abstained. That is one for the record books. He began to speak, but Balud pinged a request for the floor. Laszlo lifted a single eyebrow at the man, but the amphibian simply stood there with both eyes locked on him. A quick glance around the chamber revealed that everyone seemed to be settled in to patiently go through 2 more rounds of voting, so he waved acknowledgement and turned on Balud's mic. The amphibian made a strange bowing motion with his hands and spoke.
Duke Ambassador Fearadhach, my fellow ambassadors, the vote has been formally cast and counted. By the rules of this council, Ambassador Gerfnen is not eligible for the next round of voting. I believe that we can all agree on this.
A murmur of assent went through the chamber, some grudging and some enthusiastic, but no voice rose in dispute.
Good. It has been a long day, my fellows, and I think we would all be glad to be spared more speeches, which will do little more than re-swim over waters we have already covered, as well as a vote which will serve little purpose other than to eliminate me from the running. Therefore, I will formally concede my position on the next ballot at this time.
Laszlo saw Gerfnen stand very straight at that, and a smile form at the edges of the lizard's lips as the man reached for his mic. Balud shot the man a warning glance, however, and continued.
Note that I am not withdrawing from the ballot. I am simply conceding in advance. This does not open my spot on the ballot, as everyone who understands the rules of this chamber knows.
More murmurs of agreement fluttered through the chamber, and Gerfnen's hand lowered.
I also propose that we move immediately to the next vote. Ambassador Laszlo can hardly make this proposal, because it would be unfair for him to speak, even to simply call for an immediate vote, without giving his competitor a chance to speak as well. I, therefore, will put the proposal forth. Do I have a second?
The board lit up immediately, and Balud smiled.
Are any opposed?
The board, which tallied results from ambassadors, sat empty.
Very well, then I believe the motion passes. Let us vote to determine this last matter and all get to our dinners.
A light chuckle ran through the chamber as the votes came in. This time, a number of staunch Zoltan supporters abstained, including the Findle. He is playing his part well. Good. The tally finished, and Laszlo just stood there staring at the result. 75% of votes cast went to him, including the vote by the Bither. Something which felt like an electric current came up from his boots and wound slowly around his being, making him feel like he might float off his platform. He felt his hands blush, and couldn't even begin to exert the control to tamp it down. His chin lifted almost of his own accord, and it took all he had to keep a massive grin off his face. He felt completely exhilarated, as he might after winning a hard battle or a difficult physical sport, just without the physical exhaustion. I could get used to this, a different kind of victory, but still rewarding. Then, the mental exhaustion of an entire day of speeches and analysis slammed his brain, and he had to blink away the fog for a moment. Also, a different kind of tiring. Not sure I will ever get used to that.